Moon Knight might not be the most well-known Marvel character, but he's got a rich history in the comics all the same. With a new MCU series about to drop, what do you need to know about the character and the show before you watch? The official trailer for Moon Knight premiered during the Rams-Cardinals wildcard game in January 2022. And in addition to providing fans with a sneak peek of what the highly anticipated series might entail, it also revealed the show's release date. Moon Knight is scheduled to premiere on Wednesday, March 30th, 2022, and, like the rest of Marvel's Phase 4 TV series, will stream exclusively on Disney+. As of right now, it's unclear what time the series will become available for streaming, but we can speculate that it will be similar to the release times of prior Marvel series like Hawkeye, Loki, and WandaVision, which all premiered their episodes at 3 a.m. Eastern Time each week. We also know that Moon Knight will consist of 6 episodes, according to Kevin Feige. The Marvel Studios boss also says that these episodes will run between 40 and 50 minutes, which is in line with other Marvel Disney Plus series. Leading the cast of Moon Knight is none other than Oscar Isaac, who is set to play the titular hero as well as his multitude of overlapping personalities. Moon Knight's true identity is that of Mark Spector, a mercenary who suffers from dissociative identity disorder and constantly swaps between several distinctive identities as the series goes on. The interesting thing is that these identities essentially function as totally different characters, and it'll be interesting to see how Isaac brings them each to life on screen. Ethan Hawke is also set to appear in the series as a cult leader named Arthur Harrow, who appears in the trailer and encourages Mark to
embrace the chaos.
The series also features French actor Gaspard Ulliel, who appears posthumously as Anton Mogart, the alter ego of the character known as Midnight Man. Ulliel tragically passed away in a ski accident after filming, and Moon Knight was one of the last projects he ever worked on. Others confirmed to be in the series include F. Murray Abraham, who voices the Egyptian god Khonshu, Lucy Thackeray, who plays a co-worker who is close to one of Mark's many personalities, and May Calamawy in an undisclosed role. The official trailer for Moon Knight revealed quite a lot about the story and characters that we'll be seeing throughout the series. At the start of the trailer, Mark believes himself to be a man named Steven who works at a museum, and admits that he can't tell the difference between life and dreams. He is tormented by strange visions and nightmares and doesn't even recognize the name Mark when somebody calls him on the phone.
What's wrong with you, Mark?
Why did you call me Mark?
Mark's story is as much about fighting literal bad guys as it is about fighting his inner thoughts. And from what we see in this trailer, it seems like the latter is a losing battle. After a brief montage of Mark's disturbing visions, we finally get to see him don Moon Knight's iconic white costume. The suit literally materializes from thin air around Mark as he looks up at the moon, indicating that similar to the comics, he receives his powers from the Egyptian god of the moon, Khonshu. Finally, the trailer ends with Mark brutally beating some monstrous-looking creature before turning to the camera. It's an incredible trailer from start to finish, giving fans just enough to be excited about, without giving too much away in regards to the plot. For now, it looks like Moon Knight is going to have 2 villains, Dr. Arthur Harrow and Midnight Man. It seems as if the latter will be more of a secondary baddie, as Ethan Hawke's Harrow looks to be the main villain of the series. However, it's suspected that there's more than meets the eye here, given that Dr. Harrow has only appeared in 1 comic book issue. There's not that much story in the comic for the show to pull from, either. Many fans believe the persona of Dr. Harrow is a red herring, and Hawke is actually playing the Moon Knight villain Sun King. A former Ravencroft Institute patient, Sun King has a base of loyal followers, much like we see Hawke's Pharaoh have in the trailer. Both Sun King and Moon Knight have connections to Egyptian gods, with the former obsessed with Amun-Ra and the latter who is blessed with powers by Khonshu. It's also very possible that Hawke's character is an amalgamation of Dr. Harrow, Sun King, and other famous Moon Knight villains. Only time will tell. What we do know for certain is the inspiration for Hawke's character. In an interview with Seth Meyers, Hawke pointed to one famous cult leader as the inspiration for his portrayal of Dr. Harrow.
I've based my character on David Koresh.
Have you really?
Yes.
Moon Knight will feature 3 directors, one of whom directed 4 episodes, while the remaining pair directed the other 2. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Mohamed Diab is helming 4 episodes solo, marking the first time he's directed an English-language project. Diab is known in his home country of Egypt for projects like Cairo 678 and Clash. But Moon Knight marks his first Hollywood project. Per Variety, the famous directing duo of Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead tackled the other 2 episodes. The indie horror visionaries don't have the longest resumes in the business, but their work speaks for itself. They directed 2019's Synchronic with Anthony Mackie, an episode of Jordan Peele's The Twilight Zone reboot, and 2017's The Endless, in which they also starred. The higher-ups at Marvel Studios clearly have been impressed with the work they've seen from Benson and Moorhead, as the pair have also been brought on to direct a majority of the episodes from the upcoming Loki Season 2, according to Deadline. So far, every MCU series on Disney Plus has been scripted by a different writer. Moon Knight will introduce head writer Jeremy Slater to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but this is far from Slater's first dip in the superhero pool. He penned the script to the 2015 Fantastic Four movie. He's also one of the creators of Netflix's The Umbrella Academy. If Moon Knight turns out to be anything like Slater's initial pitch, we're in for a treat. He told Empire, "Raiders of the Lost Ark was actually a big reference when I first pitched. How can we tell this dark, complex story, but also inject some big, fun, supernatural, Amblin-style magic at the same time?" A lot of trust has been put into Slater recently, which gives us a lot of hope for Moon Knight. He's also penning the script for Mortal Kombat 2. Leading into the premiere, there's no clear answer on where Moon Knight fits in the official timeline of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. As of now, Hawkeye is the latest show on the timeline, taking place in December 2024. It's entirely possible that Moon Knight is the first MCU project to occur in 2025 if it takes place right after Hawkeye. It's also possible Moon Knight happens sometime during 2023, as do 2 other Disney Plus live-action series. WandaVision begins 3 weeks after the conclusion of Avengers Endgame, while The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is about 6 months out. Loki kicks off in 2012, but about 99% of the series occurs in a space outside of time, so it really doesn't have a solid place on the timeline. Eternals, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and Spider-Man No Way Home all take place before Hawkeye, with No Way Home definitely landing in 2023. Long story short, Moon Knight can fit anywhere. Every MCU Disney Plus series has its own identity, but Moon Knight is going to really shake things up in a big way. Kevin Feige admitted to Empire that things are taking a major left turn with Moon Knight, suggesting it's the darkest series in the MCU to date. He told the outlet, "It's been fun to work with Disney Plus and see the boundaries shifting on what we're able to do. There are moments when Moon Knight is wailing on another character, and it is loud and brutal, and the knee-jerk reaction is, 'We're gonna pull back on this, right?' We're not pulling back. There's a tonal shift. This is a different thing." So far, every MCU series has held a TV-14 rating, including the animated project What If. The way Feige describes Moon Knight and its brutality sounds like the series might have earned a more adult rating than its predecessors, but Disney Plus has labeled it with the TV-14 rating on its website. One thing is clear, Moon Knight is certainly going to push the barriers of how far a TV-14 show can go. For now, it looks like there won't be a second season of Moon Knight, but that's based on a small comment made by Oscar Isaac. When speaking with Jared Leto for Variety's Actors on Actors series, Isaac mentioned that Moon Knight was a limited series. Limited means just that, so for now, fans likely shouldn't get their hopes up for a second season. WandaVision was also confirmed to be just a limited series, but that's not the case for all MCU live-action shows. So far, Loki is the only Disney Plus series from Marvel to have confirmed a Season 2. This announcement came in the credits of the first season's finale episode, so if we are getting a follow-up for Moon Knight, its finale could be the episode that holds all the answers. However, just because there might not be a Season 2 of the series, that doesn't mean we won't be seeing Moon Knight again in the MCU. Up to this point, the title characters of every MCU series had already appeared in multiple movies, so there was always the assumption we'd see them again on the big screen. Moon Knight is the first title character to get their origin story in a Disney Plus series, and his future afterward is slightly unknown. Since we know we probably won't be getting a Season 2, we'd have to hope Oscar Isaac's Mark Spector would show up in future MCU flicks, and it looks like those hopes are due to be fulfilled. Kevin Feige confirmed to The Hollywood Reporter that Moon Knight would appear in an MCU film after the series. This is also the case for Jennifer Walters from She-Hulk and Kamala Khan from Ms. Marvel. For now, your guess is as good as ours as far as to where Moon Knight might appear next, but hopefully we'll get some clues during the show's 6-episode run. He isn't one of the characters rumored to appear in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and there have been no rumblings of him showing up in Thor: Love and Thunder or Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. There's no shortage of upcoming MCU movies though, so here's hoping we'll get more Moon Knight sooner than later. Cameos in the MCU are common these days, and the Disney Plus Marvel series are no exception. James Rhodes popped up in an Emmy-nominated scene in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Wilson Fisk made his MCU debut in Hawkeye. The X-Men's version of Pietro Maximoff sort of cameoed in WandaVision, and Chris Hemsworth had a very sneaky voice cameo in Loki as a trapped frog Thor. Needless to say, we're expecting someone we know to show up in Moon Knight. Rumors abound that Jon Bernthal could be reprising his role as Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, in Moon Knight. Redditors have been hoping for this cameo for a while now, especially given that Frank Castle and Moon Knight have a history in the comics. With Vincent D'Onofrio showing up on Disney Plus in an old Netflix role, it's certainly possible. There's also speculation that Mark Ruffalo might be appearing as Bruce Banner in Moon Knight after he was spotted in Budapest, Hungary during the same time the series was filming there. If that's true, it seems like there'd be no better MCU hero to teach Moon Knight how to control his emotional issues.
That's my secret, Captain. I'm always angry.
Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite MCU series are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.